Piggyback Ketchup, sure. That's... John, you're a little too short. Whatever will you... Well, actually, hold on. No, I don't got enough speed there. Can I get you off of Chris?
John was happy to keep helping. He felt it was important to his image that he was seen to help the little guys.
Important to his image. Gee, thanks. I need you away from the wall so that I can pull one of these tricky nonsenses. There. Would you believe that the D-pad on my controller does not, in fact, control these little blocks? No, I have to be using a control stick, which thankfully there's only left and right, but it is an inconvenience that I do not appreciate. Can I make the jump? Why would anything ever be that simple, you know? Can I make this jump? Yes. Well, now I've just got dead air because I'm so used to letting the narrator be talking. Whatever will I do? Yeah, and you'll see now we have a much longer level without, like, any narration other than just that short snippet at the start. Yeah, you're not gonna get up top there. Chris does need the full hum. I also want to say that the background images there of, like, the hexes flipping on and off,
The red one,
and the little...
Thomas, had a charming way of applauding every time John jumped.
I can get up there with Thomas, right? Thomas has got enough of them. But yeah, like the little glider icons. I want to say that as a reference to Conway's The Game of Life, which would make sense for the story that we are currently inhabiting. Dang it, not again. It's how many times can you learn to climb stairs? Have you had your fill of stairs?
The orange one was less immediately likable, but his unremitting cynicism and tutting amused John.
Well, as long as John is amused. That's all that matters in the world. Now you will clear that, right? Yeah. Oh, dang, this one's gonna suck. Can I jump with you on my head? No, I don't have enough uppage for that. Ah! Not that it was needed. Was that one of the longer levels in the game, I want to say, just with the amount of stair climbing? Yeah, this one's much shorter.
This was interesting. A floating target. This would require coordination, balance, and timing.
Well,
John was sure the dots would be lost, but he was happy to guide them to triumph. Maybe that's what the dots were for. They were there to extend John's reach, to make his performance even more impressive. John liked the thought. He decided to keep them.
Oh, I'm glad that John decided to keep us. Also, it's not that much more of a coordination or timing thing. It is just an order of operations. Make sure Thomas is the one to go into his goal last. Ta-da! You get there in the end. The initial group processed simple variations in size and strength. More complex configurations were inevitable, and the error spread, these variations became increasingly extreme. Author of Life, Instance.
So, this was how Claire would die. She knew it would happen eventually.
Oh, I'm slow. I'm slow as heck.
She was rubbish at jumping, and she moved slowly. She felt a little like her continued existence was breaking some kind of natural order. The crumbling pillar was a dramatic death, she supposed. Wait, what? Claire couldn't shake the feeling that she was not, in fact, dead. It was at that moment that Claire realised she had superpowers.
I would have liked the she had superpowers to be a separate box so that my reading the subtitles there didn't spoil the line delivery, which is way funnier than the way it had been going.
There was no getting around that. You couldn't be a superhero without a cape. Claire didn't want confusion. If you saw a cape, that made matters clear. You knew what you were dealing with. Claire was all about communication.
So, subtle extra benefit of Claire,
You know, floating in water, which was her superpower.
is that, like, I could jump across and land on all those pillars individually, or I could just use Claire with a wider base as a bridge. It's very handy. Oh, invisible wall. Why put the invisible wall there? I don't know. As opposed to like an actual wall, is what I'm suggesting.
Right. Fear not, my skinny friends, for I am Claire, and I will save you.
I like that Claire just...
needed to come up with a superhero name as soon as possible. Claire was rubbish.
I like that Claire just needed to have, like, a purpose to her existence explained. Like, she'd compared herself to other... I mean, she is still comparing herself to others here in that she has an ability that literally no one else does. And that has given her an increased sense of ego, but I don't know. Oh, we've got rain. Ah, thank you for
Claire
spawning onto me,
arrived
Clay.
just in time, which was, of course, the perfect moment for superheroes to arrive.
Just in the nick of time? Yeah, generally. Now, I think if Claire does end up fully submerged, like if you don't open that up, then it is a failure state. I don't think she will pop back up. Although, I don't know. Oh, you can at least dunk your feet into the toxic
As the
boiling water.
began to rise, Claire vowed to save this little rectangle in as many restarts as it took.
Oh, and they are perceiving the restarts that I, of course, haven't had yet because I'm awesome.
Claire wondered if Thomas would make a good sidekick. Or was she more the lone Avenger type? If you'd like that. The sole hero in a world of rectangles and conveniently placed pools of toxic water.
Yep. Well, that was an auto-scroll level if I ever saw one. Auto-scroll level where you float to the top. A novelty. Ah, heck. So what happens when you don't have water around? Is Claire gonna need both of us to get up? No. Oh, but Chris is gonna have a day of it, isn't he?
The others told Claire that staircases were a bit of a fixture here. Claire wondered why the world made it so difficult.
Literally artificial challenge. Like, that is the reasoning. This is all an artificial design. I should have checked to make sure there wasn't water at the bottom of this, but I already didn't do that. Well, we'll instead let Claire go first. Oh, we are missing a Thomas. There is no Thomas in here. Thomas was absent, not just alone. Turns out. You have served your purpose of getting across the one obstacle only you could. And Chris is completely useless. I mean, he's great for getting into small areas, but there were none here. It was just an extra thing to lug along. Sad. Shame, really.
Claire probably needed a nemesis. A villain who would show their true colours at the worst possible moment, hurting all she held dear. Chris was the most obvious choice. He seemed stroppy enough, and his jump was so pathetic that it conveniently avoided Claire's insecurities. Yes. Chris. Diabolical Chris. The fiendish Christopher.
So, holding jump makes me jump on top of the water, but when I don't have enough, I can just scoot along the top here. Weird. Okay. Also, I appreciate Claire being like, Chris, he's even shittier than me. That means that he must be the villain of this story. Which, I mean, if Chris wasn't such a downer to begin with, I might say she was being unfair, but, you know, I was already poo-pooing Chris as it was, so... Who am I to judge Claire too harshly here? Can you not? There we go. And once again, line up your blocks proper for staircasing. Or stair-chrising in this case. All right. I guess this is a little bit tedious of a puzzle platforming. So much of just go to the obvious. Whoa!
Where's Chris gone? Was he off somewhere? Plotting Claire's downfall?
Also
I
odd.
was honest. And she had to be because she was a superhero. This was a troubling turn of events.
So the text does wrap properly to the side of the screen until you actually go off it.
Sized bodies of water to cross.
There is a minimum distance that you can cause the text to wrap, and then if it flipped, if it turned around left to right or right to left when it reached an edge case like that, that would be the solution. But it might also cause it like the left-hand wrap or right-hand wrap might be a little bit hard to read. I don't know. I'm glad that there wasn't water down there. I think I saw that it was safe for Thomas to hike it all the way over here. So strange to comment on Chris's absence here, rather than earlier when Chris was absent and it was just Thomas. But, you know. I guess Chris wasn't the villain in Claire's eyes at that point.
Moving platforms over water, eh? Claire's newly heightened senses told her that there were multiple paths across with various possible configurations of the little posse.
Yes, and the solution is to ignore Claire entirely, rather than trying to... rather than trying to shepherd them across. Although she might have been able to make it on the platforms itself. No, they do drop into the water, and I don't know if her jump would do it.
They were doing really well. Claire hoped she could get them all across. John was fully aware he could do this alone. Thomas hoped he'd never have to.
And she's doing really well as she dunks them into the water. Okay, Thomas, what are we, what are we doing, buddy? Let's put you as a middle platform there just for a minute, Claire, as I worry about how I'm doing that. Oh, that's as far as we can get over on that way. Haha, you have a little hat. A hat of friends, Claire. Claire's alone now. I don't know if you can see in the lower left-hand side of the corner that is covered up by my microphone stand, but there is the dot selector.
Claire was alone.
Heck.
Which was odd, because she wasn't meant to be alone. She needed to be where there were rectangles to save.
I gotta do the Mega Man jump
Being
there.
The only superhero in given space kind of defeats the object.
Now, you're not super when you're just the only person.
New. Claire avoided them. She decided they were most likely her kryptonite. Not the rubbish red kryptonite either, the proper radioactive green stuff.
I'm surprised that they know what kryptonite is, and also that kryptonite is, like, not a copyrighted term? Question mark? I wonder how that works out, or if it's just cultural reference at this point. Okay, so...
Wow. Deja vu. The world was repeating. And this time Thomas was here. Claire felt something had gone wrong. There was a disturbance in the Force.
And I'm
Something
trying
had
to jump,
altered the
too.
Matrix. The world was reacting to their progress. It was amassing its forces. It was plotting against them.
So, there's something wrong with the Force,
Finally had a nemesis.
and also the Matrix. I think Claire is just, like, a stand-in for, like, Nerd Girl. Ah, heck! Ah, heck! Oh, and the world is Claire's nemesis now. Can we safely get across this? Thank you. Don't kick me off. That's rude. So do this one more time. Well, my deathless run came to a screeching halt there last level, so I'm not even too particularly concerned. I would like to, if you would just let me across. It's eating my jump inputs because of the way the elevator works. Physics is a little wonky here, I want to say. A purely physics-based system. There's lots of soft fiddly numbers.